While I was more into Will Smith's Fresh Prince than Johnny Depp's Teen Cop, I'm not blind. I can see why people enjoyed his cheekbones, but is a pretty face worth the dark side of Johnny Depp? After all, Depp most certainly does have a history of violence. If you're ever looking for reasons to think again about getting that Pirates of the Caribbean tattoo, look no further. Depp's belligerent violence can be stretched back to his first days in Hollywood when he was first arrested for jumping a security guard in 1989. He was sued in 2018 because, according to location manager Greg Brooks, Depp's response to being told that that's a wrap on set was to punch Brooks in the face. Magazines used to write these oh so cute features about how Johnny Depp and Kate Moss would trash hotel rooms during their substance binges. But if you go back and read those stories now, it's never quite clear whether he broke the furniture in a fit of rage, she broke it in a fit of pique, or both. However, in the context of Amber Heard's claims that Depp was physically violent towards Moss, those stories can be read a lot differently. Moss and Heard aren't the only other exes with such stories though. Ellen Barkin and others have shared that Depp is violent to exes. While many people have cited that Depp has shown no signs of problematic behavior in his previous relationships, naming ex-wife Paradis and Winona Ryder as examples, Ellen Barkin, who had a relationship with Depp, came forward with her own story regarding the actor. Barkin, who met the Fear and Loathing actor in Las Vegas in 1998, alleges that while he was with her, Depp was an angry and jealous person who on one occasion threw a bottle of wine in her direction. It's never been confirmed whether she was injured by the incident, but in court documents that held Barkin's submission as a witness for The Sun in the UK LaBelle case, she said there is always an air of violence around him, and to quote, "He's a yeller, he is verbally violent." Another ex, Jennifer Grey of Dirty Dancing, also attested to similar behavior patterns in her own relationship with Depp in 1989 in The Independent, describing him as crazy jealous and paranoid about what I'd been up to while he was gone. She also claimed that he allegedly often got into bar fights and was ill-tempered. Another upsetting pattern in his relationships outside of the violence is uncomfortable age gaps. Yeah, the relationship that littered our Tumblr feeds in 2013 and 2016, Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder, wasn't as innocent or aesthetic as first thought. Though celebrated as one of the most iconic pairings of all times, Depp was actually 25 when Winona Ryder was only 17 when they first met, making him 8 years her senior. So by saying they were dating, I mean he statutorily violated her and nobody cared because their cheekbones just looked so cute together. Just saying. The cries of Heard being a young manipulative gold digger don't ring as true when you peruse the actor's dating history. In fact, much like Leonardo DiCaprio, Depp has a habit of dating younger women exclusively. In his relationship with Kate Moss, which is being described as volatile as best, Depp was 31 while the supermodel was just 20. The same age gap, though less problematic you may say, existed in his relationship and marriage to Paradis, where he was around 36 and she was 25. This leads us up to his tumultuous pairing with Heard, and it's also the largest gap as of yet, the actor being 51 when he married the 29-year-old actress. But speaking of Paradis, she came up when it was revealed that Depp has made some frightening threats over text. As part of the Heard-Depp trial, incidents of Depp's questionable behavior were highlighted by Heard's camp, some being leaked text messages exchanged with fellow actor and friend Paul Bettany in June of 2013, wherein Depp wrote, "Let's drown her before we burn her," followed by, "I will F-word her burnt corpse afterwards to make sure she's dead." This was written about Amber Heard, but a message was also read in court where Depp was caught calling his ex-wife and mother of his children, Vanessa Paradis, a French extortionist C-word. There was a few others read that Depp had written about Heard, but they're pretty uncomfortable to repeat. But I will bring up another text. To back up a claim that Heard had made that Depp was violent on board of a flight, the following text was issued into evidence, wherein Depp described himself on the trip as an angry, aggro slur for native people, in an effing blackout, screaming obscenities and insulting any F-word who got near. And no trying to argue these things were said or not said either. These were all confirmed by Depp in court as indeed sent from him. But I want to touch on the slur he used and the fact that he used it because Depp loves to appropriate indigenous culture, and that's our next segment. Because in his mind, being 1/16th Cherokee unproven entitles him to literally donning red face and trying to endlessly profit off of a culture he has no learning or understanding in. It's hard to miss any celebrities dancing with cultural appropriation. Everyone calls out the Kardashians, everyone calls out the Hadids, Ariana Grande, and more. But when it comes to Depp and his indigenous appropriation, there seems to be a unanimous agreement to just watch and do nothing. What immediately comes to mind is that Dior advert that was scrapped and reshot, the one that appropriated indigenous American imagery and sound, and then they paired it with the word sauvage. Please, seriously. But so what, you may say? Depp apologized, they changed, and besides, Johnny wasn't responsible anyways, as his fans cry, as if Depp wasn't the creative director who literally designed that super racial ad. But it is this coddling of what is a 60-year-old man that further allowed him to do this. Look at Lone Ranger, where Depp, as it was reported by Time magazine, decided he himself wanted to play the part of Tonto, a indigenous character, rather than the masked man lead character who is white, which is how we ended up watching Johnny Depp make a joke of indigenous culture for an hour and a half in red face. And it wasn't even for a good reason. That movie did not do well because, as we all know, Johnny Depp is box office poison. Depp sued Heard for $50 million, saying her 2018 Washington Post op-ed defamed him and destroyed his career. She countersued for $100 million. But according to his manager of 30 years and anyone with eyes, Johnny Depp's own behavior, the no-shows, the lateness, the daily intoxication, is what caused his career to suffer, making it far more complicated to represent him in the years before his troubles with ex-wife Amber Heard became public. As according to Tracy Jacobs, who had managed Depp for 30 years at ICM Partners and United Talent Agencies, and she's one of the industry's top power brokers with a roster of stars. She said at one point Depp became the biggest star in the world and was extraordinarily talented, but that her opinion of Depp has changed over time to, quote, due to it getting harder to get him jobs given the reputation that he had acquired due to his lateness, amongst other things. She said during their last 10 years of working together, to quote, I was very honest with him and said, you've got to stop doing this. This is hurting you. And it did. Hollywood was talking. Jacobs said crews loved the actor but didn't love sitting around for hours waiting for the star of the movie to show up, and his popularity plummeted. Jacobs' words ring true in Depp's final deal for the Murder on the Orient Express. He was paid $5 million for 4 consecutive weeks of shooting, plus a great back end which he received significant money on subsequently. But that wasn't anything close to example Pirates money. For the 5th installment of that movie, he was paid $25 million with a back end, she said. But Jacobs also said that no one from Disney committed at any point to him appearing in a 6th pirate film. Because his behavior was so abhorrent on the set of the 5th, his own agent Jacobs had to fly to Australia to deal with him like a babysitter. Accusations of difficulties on set still follow the actor, who's now facing verbal harassment accusations from actress Lola Glaudini, who said that Depp verbally berated her on the set of the movie Blow. Glaudini appeared on an episode of the podcast The Powerful Truth Angels earlier this year and talked of the experience, how she'd been instructed by the film's director Ted Dem to burst out laughing when Depp says one of his lines. Glaudini said that she had already done several takes for the movie where she had laughed when the following incident occurred. To quote her, Depp says his monologue, I hear the cue and I go, haha, I do a big laugh or whatever. Johnny Depp, when they said cut, walks over to me, comes up to me, sticks his finger in my face and he goes, who the bleep do you think you are? Who the bleep do you think you are? Shut the bleep up. Lola then repeats Depp's entire F-bomb filled rant, which finishes with the line, now you can effing shut the F up. Now, the quiet that you are now, that's how you effing stay. Glaudini further claimed that Depp had later offered a non-apology apology after the incident, saying that the Pirates of the Caribbean star allegedly told her, you know, so earlier I was really in my head and staying in character. I'm doing this Boston accent and it's really effing with me, so I'm a little tense and stuff. I just want to make sure we're cool and everything. Lola chose to pretend nothing had happened, explaining that her dad told her, don't let them see you sweat, and she decided to play chill for the long run. It seems that calm and quiet is how Depp likes them though, as revealed in court that he was spiking Amber Heard. Reddit users tearing apart the case of Depp versus Heard online seem to have one common consensus no matter what side they're on. It's absolutely sickening that Depp admitted in court that he ordered his doctors to give Amber a concoction of sedatives to calm her down because she nagged him him to stop his substance and alcohol usage, and this was all done to Amber without her knowledge or consent as well. No matter what side you want to take, acknowledge that there was an imbalance of power between them. I mean, it was clear when a random unlicensed doctor of Depp's choosing, who he went out to for drinks with more than once, was able to diagnose Amber Heard with disorders, yet the therapist she saw before him, and then the therapist he hired for her while in the relationship, not once diagnosed her with anything. I think I'll take the real licensed board certified professionals who saw Amber for over 6 years over some quack when it comes to court evidence, but these were the very same quacks that Depp had spiking Amber Heard, as proven by court documents and Depp's own self-admittance in a text to nurse Erin Boreum on July 16th of 2016, which read, "I was the one that asked for you to calm her down and keep her under control, not because she was kicking D words. It was to take her pressure away from me. Same reason I hired her shrink." Now that's a sign people were wrong about him. Another one is the company he keeps, like how he supported Roman Polanski, one of the greatest directors of all time. Depp joins a plethora of Hollywood counterparts in their horrifying reverence of the man. The director was found guilty in 1977 for The Essay of a Girl. He was 43, the girl was 30 years younger. Do the math. So he fled the US and lived mainly in France while avoiding any countries that had jurisdiction to extradite him to the States for his prison sentence. Despite this crime that he later even admitted to, as well as other horrifying displays of predatory behavior, and he's not exactly subtle about it, Polanski went on to win an Oscar in 2003. Multiple people have since come forth to accuse the director of horrible things, and when faced with house arrest in 2009, Depp was one of many actors to come forward for the R-wordist's defense, saying, "Why now? Obviously there's something going on somewhere. Somebody has made a deal with someone. Maybe it was a little money involved, but why now?" he said, the actor. And also very clearly he's proven this. Roman Polanski is not a predator. He's 75 or 76, he's got 2 beautiful kids, and he's got a wife he's been with for a long time. Yeah, it's your fave guy. He thinks he can't prey on people if you're married. But really, let's round it all off and remember that evil breeds evil. Depp now encourages other predatory people to repeat his actions, like suing more victims. Much like Kanye West continuing his work with Marilyn Manson, just being in association with such a person is issue enough. But Depp's entanglement with the artist and his own case against Heard has undermined the experience of violence of survivors going forward. It seems that Depp's bestie has been inspired by the case and has gone on to sue his ex Evan Rachel Wood for, guess what? Defamation. Surprise, surprise. Marilyn Manson, who's being accused of physical and psychological violence by multiple former partners now, decided to press those charges on the young actress who had come forward about Manson G-wording her. What makes the matter worse and more unsettling is that Depp's incessant fans have actually rallied behind Manson, claiming that he too has been falsely accused. But bear in mind, 16 women have come against him for SA and worse. The New York Post made note that Depp's own staunch fans were the ones who quickly spread the hashtag I stand with Marilyn Manson throughout Twitter. Though, of course, Depp in particular actually has a case for himself experiencing violence in return from Heard, his attitude in court, as well as the horrid glorification and ridiculing of the lawsuit, has only aided in vilifying real female survivors of violence when they try to speak up. So viewers, comment down below. Is Johnny Depp's former hot boy years worth clinging on to a notoriously unserious and dare say chilling person? Maybe share this video with some friends or family, get a lively debate going about it. Until next time, be sure to subscribe and like this video to stay up to date on all our content.